Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a closer look at the IDW TMNT book 2. I managed to pick up books 2 through 4 in the comic book closing down sale, so I'm really happy to have these because they seem to go in and out of print. I believe the next volume has April on the front for volume 5, but I'm going to try and read these sort of once a month. Kind of going through so that I'm not rushing through, because I have really been enjoying it and I want to digest the sort of information. So I read one a little while ago now. I've now read through, as I say, volume 2. So let's take a closer look and then we can discuss it a bit further. So on the front of this one we have Splinter, and it's the collection volume 2. The colour on the side of this one is a kind of darker grey for the sort of katana look on the spine, and then on the back we've got Splinter as well. This says that it contains issues 13 through 20 of the main series, so that's quite a bit of the main series. It's got the Casey Jones, April O'Neil, Fugitoid, Krang and Baxter Stockman sort of one-shots, plus the Secret History of the Foot Clan mini-series. So quite a bit of information in that book overall, but also, as I say, about half or more is the main story, so we do get some progression to the main story overall. The books always match up in colour and stuff inside, so it's cool. You get the kind of grey in here, and you've got various kind of things of Splinter and Krang. And then, do we not have a... I would do it with the contents. I was going to say, they always have the contents in these books, and it's pretty cool. So, see, you get the order of how things go. So despite it says in the back where you get... say it's issue 13 through 20 or whatever, it splits up in the order the story actually goes. So we get Casey Jones followed by issue 13, issue 14, then April, then 15 and 16, then Fugitoid, and so on, kind of from there. The art seems to vary. We do have different kind of styles as the kind of books go on. So, as I say, the one-shots have a little bit of a different kind of art style. I do love how the pages sit out really well. I mean, I'm not having to hold that at all. It being white in the gutter, you're not losing any kind of picture there. Before we go any further, if I just spread the book as a whole from the kind of centre, you can see how we have a ribbon, which is awesome for kind of keeping your page, and then also you get a nice raise in the overall kind of binding. So despite this book being a standard oversized hardcover, it does lie out really well, and you don't really get any kind of gutter loss there at all. Michelangelo actually has some pretty fun moments in here. So I don't want to spoil, say, the main kind of arcs in it, so I'm going to just skip forward, give you guys a bit of the kind of art overall. So you get more sketchier art if you're in the older kind of Japan, and sort of more modern art for the more kind of futury stuff. So, not a ton of stuff at the back of the book, but I'd rather get more content, even if it is extra little stories, than to have just a whole bunch of extra stuff at the back. So, we've got a few covers here. This is Shredder with the Turtles. We've got Krang in his big kind of bodysuit. We have, it looks like the Turtles with, I forget what his name is, Slash or something, the kind of the bad turtle. And then we've got sort of Shredder at the back of the book here. This book carries on from the first volume. There are a few tie-in issues where you'll get sort of a Casey Jones story, I believe, around his dad being a bit kind of abusive, and there's a few other just little bits and pieces to do with I forget, Dimension X or something like that, and it kind of ties into that stuff. But it all comes back together and it ties in really well, and I love the fact that this book is in sort of chronological reading order rather than being, say, all the mainstay issues and then the tie-ins being at the back of the book. It reads through properly really well. So I thought we'd established everything by the time we got through the first book, in the sense of, here's our Turtles, here's our kind of Splinter, here's Casey Jones and April, this is how they kind of came about and kind of got together, here's, sort of our Shredder and what he was to the Foot Clan earlier on, and he's now got this sort of ninja daughter girl, which I don't really know anything about previously, and I forget what her name is. And we kind of have that kind of clan kind of building up from there. And so when we got into this one, I was like, well, where are we going to go next? Where's the next kind of build up? Are we going to get bigger fights? Are we going to get bigger, kind of sequences, or what's going to go on? So this book actually focuses a lot on establishing Krang and his whole kind of side of things. Unlike in the cartoon, where Krang's basically a little bit of Shredder's bitch, this Krang seems to have his own kind of drives, and it gives us this whole explanation as to how, as I say, that Krang, how his universe worked, how he became the tyrant that he did, stuff like that. So you kind of find out that he was a little bit of a kind of a lazy, spoiled, kind of silver spoon kid, and his dad never really thought anything of him. And he kind of has to go out and prove himself to his father and to himself. And there's a cool little arc kind of there around how kind of how he does that in a battleground and kind of doing things. I don't want to spoil it. I say it's really fun, and the Krang story was one of the best bits in the book, so I don't want to spoil that overall. But you do get an established story for him. We get portals and things going on, so that's obviously building up where you can go between the different dimensions and stuff. There's a lot more story around Shredder, and explains how he's basically still around now as a human, because obviously with Splinter and the Turtles all being reincarnated generations down the line, how is Shredder still in his original human kind of form? So that gets explained, and that ties to Krang a bit, and it's really interesting as to how the 3 or 4 kind of sides going on kind of tie into each other as that's kind of building up. We get a few characters that were friendlier with the Turtles kind of hiding a bit as the war kind of builds, because they don't want to be involved, or they don't want to get hurt as far as that side's concerned. And we see a few more heroic moments from April, where she's very much not the damsel in distress in this story at all. She's going right out there and wanting to learn all the same martial arts and stuff that Casey does. So I like that. It gives her a bit of a stronger kind of character, but without taking away from who she is fundamentally to me, which is, a redhead wearing yellow who is kind of overly inquisitive about things. Okay, she's not a reporter in this now, she's a scientist, but that's fine. So really, really enjoyed it overall. Really enjoyed the book. Sort of to read, the story's been great overall. The art does come and go at times, but as I say, it is fast paced and stuff enough that you just accept it and move on. Some of it, as I say, being tie-in issues, the art is going to change for those separate kind of issues. And I'm not always aware when I'm reading it whether or not it's a tie-in issue I'm reading or not. Even though the contents are at the start of the book, I don't check that constantly. I'm not that guy. I just read the story. So if it gets to poor art or lesser art, just kind of read through it anyway. It's fine. The story is greater than some of its parts, I guess, in that kind of way. So just generally really happy to have this book overall, and if I say any more, I'm going to be breaking down absolute kind of spoilers of the book, so I really don't want to do that. Suffice to say that, as I say, the first book focused very much on establishing Shredder and our Turtles. This book focuses on setting up how the different dynamics connect with each other, as I say, between Casey, April, the Turtles, Shredder, and sort of Krang. So far we have no Bebop and Rocksteady, so maybe that'll come in a further kind of volume. But yeah, just really enjoyed it so far and can't recommend it enough as something to check out. It's just a really good comic. Or as I say, if you are nostalgic and love the Turtles in any way growing up, whether it is the black and white comics, the sort of TV shows, which over here would have been Hero Turtles, or the original sort of 90s movies, whichever way you could have watched it, this is, you know, a great sort of reimagining, and it doesn't really, you know, tread on any toes to the point where it's like, oh, we've completely made, you know, Splinter into a bear or something. You know, it's little tweaks that work for today's kind of day and age, and yeah, just really good overall. So I can't recommend it enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, if you've been reading the Turtles, let me know below what you thought of the sort of first two books so far, and if you plan on sort of reading it all the way through. As always, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.